So you know when you have anxiety, so you get a dog, and then you just give your dog anxiety? Well, my dog is feeling anxious tonight. He really doesn't like this light. So at some point he will probably knock this over because he's already knocked it over twice. I wasn't like trying to cue you to do that. Hello, welcome to Kelsie's Readsies. My name is Kelsie, and today's Readsies are books that I read in January, which was 11 days ago. We are now 11 solid days into February, and I am now going to list books I read almost a month ago. I remember them pretty clearly though, because January was banging, it was poppin', and it went hard. I honestly erupted into the new year with tenacity because I did not reach my reading goal last year. My dumb ass thought I was gonna read 50 books, and I read 42.
When you try your best but you don't succeed.
This year, 50 books is very attainable. I'm gonna make damn sure of it. You got this new head filled up with smoke. You know, make damn sure by Taking Back Sunday. Anyway, let's just get right into it. So the first book that I read this month and the first book I read this year, We Were Never Here. I don't have it with me right now because I lent it to my friend the second I finished it. Actually, while I was reading it, I was texting her like, I gotta lend you this book. You and your mom need to read this. I love messy girls trip drama. It was a wild premise. So there's two best friends, okay? They go on vacation together one year. They go to Cambodia. Random trip abroad. Something goes awry, things go a little bit crazy, and they end up killing a man. R.I.P. dude. He's dead. They say, oh no, we're not going to Cambodian prison. We're gonna go ahead and throw this Bodhi off of a cliff. They seem to get away with it. This is all premise. This is all in the back of the book. No spoilers. I'm not going to spoil this for you because I think you should read it. They get rid of the body. It's a year later. Then here's the conflict. They go on vacation again. This time they go to Peru. What else could happen on a vacation? They have some drinks by the pool? Yeah, sure. They have some murder by the mountain? Yeah, that too. Yes, another freaking murder happens. They accidentally kill someone again. So yes, it is a murder mystery. Not so much a murder mystery, more so like, are they gonna get caught and what's gonna happen if they do? It really like analyzes toxic friendships, takes a manipulative friendship and puts it in a very extreme situation. Like a toxic friendship is a toxic friendship. Like, yeah, your friend always has to pick the restaurants you go to or she'll throw a fit. Let's throw some crime into there and then see how that relationship really fares. The line between toxic friendship and like criminally insane had twists, turns. I'm sure you want to know how it all shook out. I would say read this if you love messy girl trip drama, you love a stream of consciousness storytelling, you love to feel anxious. Series took me on a Hawaiian roller coaster ride of emotions. Book number 2, Glass Sword in the Red Queen series, the Red Queen, which I read back in November. Book number 3, How to Keep It Going with King's Cage in the Red Queen series, and then finish it off with Warstorm, also in the Red Queen series. Hello. Is that you suffering? I guess I have time. This was a wild ride. I read the fuck out of these. And the fact that this series is now over, I feel empty inside. It was amazing. It was a solid 4-star series for me. The premise is so quintessentially YA fantasy. Just, you know, a girl who comes from nothing discovers that she has powers, and there she goes off on her life of a power haver when before she didn't. She's up at the tippity top when she was at the tippity bottom. She's having temptations to go to the dark side. Will she go to the dark side? I don't know. It's like a ragtag group of characters. It's everything that you would want in this type of tale. The action scenes just flow. I'm flying through the pages. No spice in this, but there is a sapphic romance, which I love and will eat up. Yum, yum, yum. My favorite out of the whole series was the third book, King's Cage, because although the first 2 books are first-person POV of the main character, her name is Mare. She has the power of lightning. In the third book, we get other POVs from different characters characters in the book, and one of them happens to be my favorite character from the first book, Evangeline. I love her. She has the power of metal, so she can control things like bullets. It's just really badass, and I just love her. It was really nice getting into the mind of other characters, and I just always enjoy that. So that was more of like a storytelling decision that I really, really agreed with, because I will say by the third book, I was kind of like, okay, Mare, like I already know how you feel about everything. Expositional descriptions of the plot, and I'm not really learning more about you as a character. Like, she was already pretty developed at that point, pretty hard stances for how things were going. So in the third book, when we start to get other POVs, I was like, yes, let's fucking go. I want to say more about it. I do want to say one thing. So they use this thing in this book called Silent Stone. This is not really, I'm not gonna spoil it for you. I just want to like say something, so if you do read it, think back to this and be like, oh wow. Okay, so they have this thing to mute people's powers called Silent Stone, and they like surround you in it. When I found out how they made Silent Stone, I was like, that is absolutely fucked. And it's stuck with me. I will not be silent about it. I want to talk about it with someone so bad. I'm gonna spoil it. If I start talking about it, I'm gonna spoil it. It's so good. I loved it so much. I was so entertained by it. So yeah, I think you should read Red Queen, so then we can talk about Red Queen. Okay, I'm emotionally ready to talk about the next book. This was the perfect marriage. It's a book. I was so annoyed by it after I finished it that I actually did a whole reading vlog on it where I just say the entire plot beginning to end, just like fully spoiled, because I want to save you from reading it, because the story itself was actually very interesting and very fun. I really think that the vibe of the book was just so Lifetime movie. Like, there's some good elements of it for sure, and ultimately how it all shook out was fun. And I mean, I finished the book, I didn't DNF it, so it's not worth reading. But I'm gonna tell you the premise and then let you decide for yourself. It follows two POVs, a husband and a wife. The husband's name is Adam, the wife's name is Sarah. The husband is a struggling writer and the wife is a successful lawyer. The husband decides that he wants to go ahead and be a little skeevy man boy and cheat on his successful lawyer wife. And when he's cheating and having a ball, having his little cheaty time, suddenly, mysteriously, the woman he's cheating with gets murdered. How did she get murdered? Who murdered her? Did he do it? Was it someone else? Who knows? And also, he has to go to court now because he's the main suspect. But his wife, the lawyer, what does she have to say about this? Oh, she says, I'll be your lawyer. Till death do us part, bitch. I got you. And you're like, wow, what a selfless woman. I would murder him. So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna read that, because what the I felt like an episode of CSI.
Oh, he's missing from the scene. Maybe he took off.
Or maybe he got taken for a ride.
Was it the ex-husband? Was it the shady cop? A stalker? Was it an ex-boyfriend? Was it the husband who says he didn't do it? There was just so many different possibilities rolling around in my mind on this whole book that I had to finish it. I would say read this book if you love true crime and you hate men. If you did read it or do read it, let me know. I would like to know if you guessed who the killer was, because I was so fucking confident that I guessed who the killer was, and I was fucking wrong. So I guess I gotta give it some props for that. I will give it some props. I decided I was gonna reread my favorite series from my childhood, Series of Unfortunate Events. Bitch, I am healing my inner child rereading these. These go so hard, if not harder, in my adult life. Best series ever made. Fuck you, Harry Potter. So I read the first 4 books in a series of unfortunate events, which is The Bad Beginning, The Wide Window, The Bad Beginning, The Reptile Room, The Wide Window, and The Miserable Mill. All bangers, love them all, and the fact that I remember so many intimate details from this series that I read when I was 12, but I don't recall simple math outrageous. So many details, but give me a fraction and I'm screaming, crying, throwing up. I actually found the audiobooks for these at my library on the Libby app, which I try to convince everyone to download every day of my life. I'm at the store buying oranges. They're bagging them up and I'm like, do you have the Libby app? They're narrated by none other than Rocky Horror icon, Nigel Thornberry legend, Tim Curry. Hello? Who's there? It's me. And I'm reading these books one by one. The first two are read by Tim Curry and he is astounding. His voice for Uncle Monty in the second book had me cackling. If you read these when you were a kid, it's time for a reread. It just is. The first two books are narrated by Tim Curry and then the next three are narrated by Lemony Snicket. The man, the myth, the legend. I just really love when an author narrates their own audiobook. I just think that it gives it that extra little pizzazz. But if anyone else can, it's Tim Curry, and he comes back to narrate the rest of them. I'm currently on number 7, The Vile Village. I just think these just keep getting better and better. I'm flying through these. Like, if you want an audiobook that you can listen to in a day, these are 4 hours long and you can listen to it on 2 speed and get it done in 2 hours. I've just been listening to these and walking my dog. They are so fun, they're so entertaining, they're so creative. The dark humor is so bleak and hilarious. I feel like the fact that I loved these books as a kid really makes sense why I love this book as an adult. So fucking bleak. Just joking when jokes should not be joked. This series really raised me to be the chaotic individual that you see before you. I was a little bit worried to reread these because I was worried they wouldn't hold up, but they're actually even better than I remember. Those are all the books that I read in January. 9 books, 0 social interactions, no time spent with my family. So hopefully I can keep this momentum going throughout the year. And if I don't, at least I got a head start for if I get a little slumpy. We'll have my February video out soon because it's literally the middle of February. Thank you so much for hanging out with me and Cannoli, who has surprisingly been asleep ever since his anarchy of knocking over the lamp. I love books so much. I don't want to think about my regular life ever, and I don't plan on it anytime soon. Thank you so much for watching Kelsie's Readsies, and I'll see ya on the next Readsie. Goodbye.